Okay, good Thursday morning. It is October 9th, 2025, and you are listening to the PNW Today program on WJOB, JED TV, and of course, WJOB podcasts. My name is Cale Wilk. I serve in the Office of Marketing and Communications at Purdue Northwest, and I'm so excited for who we have on the air today. I mean, grade A, five-star cast to talk about all things admissions and paying for college. An important topic right now as prospective students and their families are looking at their options for what they want to do and where they want their kids to go ahead and continue their higher education journeys. So joining to be able to help talk about all these great topics, we have just going down the line, Cristina Maldonado, who is a Director of Admissions for Parents, Community, and Early Education at PNW. Cristina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We have Sandy Steele, who is our Associate Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management. Sandy, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Good morning.
And new for the first time to the PNW Today program, Veronica Gallardo, a Senior Associate Director of Financial Aid at PNW. Veronica, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
And of course, another one of our pros on the air, we have Julie Wiejek, our Executive Director of Undergraduate Admissions. Julie, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
So before we dive into our topics, let me just go ahead and run down a few upcoming events for any community members that are interested. So since it is October, there is Oaktober Fest, and those activities are still going on at Gavis Arboretum at Purdue Northwest. So if you're interested in looking at the Moonlight and Mothlight Haunted Hike, that's going to be starting at 7 p.m. on Friday, October 10th. And basically, if you want to be able to follow the moonlit paths and understand some ghost tales unfolding at every turn and gather around the fire for more ghost stories later, you can find out more information at pnw.edu/Gavis. I mean, to me, it kind of sounds like a Rod Serling and Night Gallery getting facilitated there. We also have coming up later in early November, First Gen Week. So one of the great things is that a grand majority of our undergraduate students at PNW are first-generation students, and we love being able to highlight the ways that we support them along on their educational journey. So between November 2nd and 8th, PNW is going to be hosting student panels, mixers, networking socials, and storytelling sessions that highlight the inspiring journeys of our first-generation students, faculty, and staff. If you want to learn more information, pnw.edu/calendar. Go and visit there to find the lineup of events. There are some great college application and financial aid opportunities coming up, and we're going to get into these during our conversation. But I just want to highlight, we're going to have Preview, PNW, Start Your Journey, and College Goal Sunday. All of those in different capacities are going to be able to provide students with opportunities to be able to learn more about campus life at PNW, how to pay for college, how to file your FAFSA, obtain your FSA ID, and I'll wait until and hold on to the surprise and let our great guests be able to expand more on those, including some dates, times, information, and what all to expect with those events. The Honors College 5K is going to be occurring on Saturday, October 18th, and that's going to be starting at 8:15, or I should say about check-in is going to be starting at 8:15, and that's going to start out from our Fitness and Recreation Center on the Hammond campus, and that's always a great opportunity to be able to come out, join our Honors College students in supporting one of their beneficiaries that they select every year. So they're going to be benefiting Meals on Wheels in Northwest Indiana this year. So if you want to register, pnw.edu/honors-5K. We also have, if you have not had an opportunity to look it up, check out Friday University. There's going to be a couple dates, October 24th and November 7th, where there's going to be some very engaging sessions led by a few of our different faculty members. They're going to span things like business, science, computer science and cybersecurity, history, a whole good variety of different topics where you don't have to have the pressure of tests or homework. You can just come and enjoy an engaging session with several of our different faculty members. pnw.edu/Friday-University. That's where to register. And again, I neglected to mention those are occurring at our Westville campus. And again, October 24th and November 7th coming up. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out our wonderful friends in athletics. PNWathletics.com, that's the place to go for tickets and game information. Just to give a quick shout out for a few games that are coming up in the immediate future. We've got men's ice hockey that's going to be playing Illinois tonight at 7:30 p.m. at the Cube. October 10th, we have men's soccer hosting St. Cloud State and women's soccer hosting Saginaw Valley State, and volleyball on October 11th playing Northern Michigan, and October 12th, Michigan Tech. Again, pnwathletics.com, best place to go to find out the information. All right, if there's anybody that is just tuning in, we are talking about all things applying for college and paying for college. And we have a wonderful cast from our Division of Enrollment Management and Student Affairs that is going to help explain all that great information for our audiences. So to go ahead and start out our conversation, I want to be able to ask everyone, all of you in different capacities, you're meeting with family members, prospective students throughout the year, but now that we are in fall, it's one of those high points where students are interested in finding out more about college. They're looking at their next steps. And some of them, they have a lot of common questions that they want to know about what is college going to be like? How am I going to afford college? What are my options? What are my outcomes going to be? So as you're having conversations with different community members, what do you like to tell them about why it's important to attend college?
Did you want to start, Julie?
No, I mean, I can if you want me to, or...
Take it away, Julie.
I mean, it's important to attend college because it's a life-changing experience for yourself, for your family, for your future. Why attend at PNW? It's quality education at a value price point where you're part of a family-like community where people care about you and follow your journey. And obviously, you spoke earlier about us being first generation, and that's the majority of our services are built for first generation students, which means even if you're not first gen, you're going to have places and spaces where people will hold your hand and be there for you and make sure that you know what to do so that you feel like you've chosen the right place to pursue your higher education journey. So we could probably talk for an entire hour about why you should pursue a college education. So I mean, obviously we're biased that we think you should do it at PNW, but we also really think you should just do it. Mm-hmm. It's a great thing for your future and for your career and for your life and for your livelihood and for the region.
Yeah. I mean, first, I don't know, did we define what first gen is?
No, but I think we should, yes, bring that back.
First generation are students who are the first in their family to attain a bachelor's degree. So while parents and family members still might have an associate degree, might be have had some college background, they didn't necessarily go all the way through to a bachelor's degree. And that's important for our students and families because to us, that tells us what kind of support and what kind of care network we need to put in place for our students and our families, because they may not know what our lingo is, whether or not they can go to college, how to choose a major. We're hearing a lot right now from parents and students about anxiety over picking a major, because a lot of our first generation students don't realize that you can change your major. You don't have to finish in the major that you start. In fact, it is probably pretty likely if you're not set, like I want to be an engineer, I want to be in business. Most other majors are a little bit more fluid, and that is where when students get in, they get into their general education, they get into exploration, they find out that their passions and their interests go somewhere else. And that then delineates between what is kind of a job and what is a career. And once you get into your career, you're working your passion, and then going to work every day is more of a pleasure because you're working toward something that you find meaningful, that you learned about in college, and now you are applying those knowledge, skills, and abilities in a career. And I looked up yesterday, currently, what is the lifetime earnings between those that have a college degree and those that have a high school diploma. Now, obviously, there are many different grades. Like people that also go into trades have a very lucrative career. So this would be maybe other kinds of jobs outside the trades. It's about 1.2 million more with a college degree than with a high school degree. And it certainly offers you and your family the ability to have social mobility, which in this day and age, a lot of the careers that are coming up with AI, you are going to need that college degree to be able to pursue. So at Purdue Northwest, we are really uniquely positioned to be able to help our students in our surrounding region, which is our mission and our values and our goals, to be able to help students and their families find those dreams. And by the way, I want to say, we're not just talking to those 18-year-olds. You can always come back to college, no matter what your age is. If you have a degree already and you want to come back and switch careers, we're here to support you. If you are a 16, 17-year-old, or you're a 10-year-old dreaming about someday wanting to do something, you're in science, you watch superhero movies, you're like, I want to be able to design these kinds of things. We are here to help you be able to achieve those dreams.
Absolutely. Well, that's some great information that both of you have shared to help start out the program. Can you tell us a little bit about when you're highlighting some of those great aspects about Purdue Northwest for prospective students? What do you like to be able to tell them about the different areas of study that we have, applied research opportunities, student life, honors college, so on and so forth?
I mean, I would say the recruitment team, that's all the stuff that they know off the top of their head. They know exactly what makes us special. They know exactly what they should be highlighting. They like to meet a student and ingest a little bit of information from the student to kind of see which path they should move them towards. So they're meeting a high academic student who's really sure of their major and what they really want to do, then they're immediately talking to them about honors and research and all these things that PNW stands for. But they also talk to a lot of students who maybe their whole life have been told college isn't for them, or we can't afford this, or this is not something you should try to do. And when they talk to those students, it's about building their confidence and self-esteem and kind of letting them know that no, PNW is a really accessible place for you, and we're going to help you, and you shouldn't be afraid, and it's okay that you're not good at math, and it's all right if everyone else in your journey has kind of said that you're not smart enough to do this, or this isn't for you. And we meet students like that all the time. I know Christina in her work in the K through 8 space is constantly talking to very young students who have already been told that college is probably not for them. And then her and her team work tirelessly to make sure that that message gets flipped back into, what do you want to be when you grow up? You used to probably talk about that all the time when you were in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Like, let's bring that back. Was it a doctor? Okay, well, talk to me about that, and I'll tell you what you need to do to still maybe make that dream come back alive. And I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that serving such a large first-gen population at PNW, we understand that not only are there external barriers to our students in pursuing higher ed, but there are also internal barriers where students feel maybe like college isn't the place for them, or they might not belong, or there's fear of sense of belonging in going into higher education. And I think that's one of the things that makes PNW really stand out and be unique, is that all students find a sense of belonging at PNW, and it's about the relationships that they're able to build on campus with their professors, with our faculty, with our staff, with other students, within student organizations. I think there's just so many opportunities for our students to flourish and thrive and find themselves on our campus.
Absolutely. Again, really great information that the group has shared here. And you know me, because I love to be able to shout out URLs where we can. If anyone is curious right now at this moment to look up some information, pnw.edu/admissions. We're going to go ahead and plug that a few times during the hour. That's where you can start finding out some of this great information about what life is like studying at Purdue University Northwest. So on the topic of speaking to prospective students and area school children at different grade levels, what do some of those conversations look like when you're talking to, say, a junior or senior in high school compared to someone that might be in 7th or 8th grade? So how about go ahead and take us on a quick little journey here about, what are you talking about with students who are seniors in high school, and then where are some of those beginning conversation points that you have with younger students?
Okay, definitely. We could do a whole hour just on that. To start with seniors, because obviously they're the most pressing population we're working with. There's so many deadlines for them to meet. It's important to communicate to them the deadlines of filing for FAFSA, of submitting a college application on time, of making sure you have visited the colleges that you're considering, of applying for scholarships and searching the web for all the available scholarships. We have a lot of 21st century scholars in the state of Indiana. We want to make sure that they have completed all of their requirements to be able to cash in on that scholarship. Moving down the line, juniors, sophomores, we also want them to understand the importance of dual credit classes and taking AP classes and how that can affect their GPA and their ability to lessen the cost of college in the future. We want them to do their research on colleges, to do some visiting, to talk to their family members, to school staff, and ask questions about careers and the schools that their family members, teachers attended and what their experience was like, just to learn more about the college experience in general. Taking it down into the K through 8 space is obviously a lot different. We want students to learn to dream big and to also learn how to align their dreams to the path necessary to achieve those dreams. And so just exposure and trying to get students to realize all of the many options that are available for them in their post-secondary journey, and opening their mind to possibilities, I feel, is probably the most impactful thing we could do in the K through 8 space. Working with middle schoolers is a whole nother category in and of itself as well, because we want to make sure that they have not only understood what it means if they're a 21st century scholar, but are prepared to do what's necessary to maintain that scholarship throughout high school. But also that they're building great study habits, homework habits, learning time management skills, and all those things that are going to help make them more academically successful in their post-secondary journey.
Absolutely. And some great points that you helped bring up there, Christina. And I'm just kind of thinking back to the summer when the Indiana Commission for Higher Education had one of its monthly meetings at PNW, and you and a few of our other colleagues at the university presented in front of the commission to be able to share how some of those early education outreach initiatives are very impactful for students. So exactly to your point, like you were saying, it's important to be able to open up those dreams and illuminate those for students. What are some of the reactions that you have for students and or teachers and parents when your team has the opportunity to be able to make those connections and build those relationships?
I think students are very excited to have us in their classrooms and in their schools, and taking the time to speak with them is really important, and they're very receptive of our efforts. Parents are grateful of all of the initiatives. We've just embarked this year on a number of new parent initiatives. We've done a parent university, family weekend. We've got a lot of things boiling in the pot right now to get our parents more involved and connected to campus. So I think the overall feeling is a sense of gratitude and a sense of motivation that we find in our students from being able to be in those spaces and get them excited about college and careers.
And we kind of know we're playing the long game. I mean, she's talking about talking to kindergartners, like they won't be at PNW for 12 years, but it's already starting to trickle through. We can see, like, you guys just did a huge wraparound service event at Hammond Central, and it was Christina's office, the recruiter, a recruiter from Ivy Tech, a financial aid person, and a financial aid person who can help from the commission with 21st Century. And like, we bring that big wraparound service to a senior class event. And Christina, when she first started going to some of those schools, no one was aware of anything. And now she was like so proud when that event ended, because there were so many students who had their ducks in a row and knew what they were supposed to do and had been preparing for years. So that's why you play the long game. You talk to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders so that by the time they get to senior year, they've not missed out on any opportunities for scholarship or money. They know what they're supposed to do, and that's part of being first generation. If no one else in your family has gone through this, you don't know what to do. But like, now we're there to help, and we know that every year that we do this work, we're going to be having more and more seniors in the region who are ready to rock and have all their stuff good to go. And if that's at PNW, amazing. If not, we're just really proud that they are going to college. And like, that's what matters to make this region a powerhouse of industry and other things. Like, it's about the long game. So
yeah, and the schools love it so much that Christina's very much in demand.
Yes.
There's not enough of her to go around.
Yeah, we just started growing her staff because we started to see Hammond was one of our first partners in this, and we started to see the impact of her and her crew kind of being in the middle school, and she takes PNW students with her, and they get to like meet somebody, and as soon as it's like embodied in a person, it's a lot easier to say, I want to be them when I grow up. You could say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a social worker, I want to be whatever it is. But when she brings an actual nursing student with her to a classroom and they get to meet one of your students, and now they're like, oh, I want to be elder. And they know elder's a nurse. And like, that makes it even more it's like the person embodies their dream. And then it's easier to be like, I met someone today that I want to be like. And like, that's so powerful.
Yeah, and then they see those students in the recruitment materials.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're meeting almost those people that they're seeing in person, which is
that's
kind of a
kind
cool
of cool
connection.
thing.
Yes. Like famous people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a celebrity.
I saw you on a billboard.
And just to revisit, the mission is to just encourage students to pursue something beyond the high school diploma. And so in believing in that mission, we have partnered with Ivy Tech recently, and we have partnered with the Indiana Commission for Higher Ed. And just sharing our resources has been so much more impactful when we go into the schools together. And we're presenting this message of, look, like, we're here to help you. We're here to give you whatever scaffolding you might need to pursue the dream career of your choice. But we want all students to know that the high school diploma is the beginning and not the end. And that's pretty much the message we all want to convey.
I love that, Christina, your scaffolding.
Oh,
Oh yeah, she's been using that, and I love it too
love
because
it.
she starts building it when they're in kindergarten. You know, they have everything they need.
I don't
Yeah.
know, Veronica. I think we need some scaffolding for financial aid.
We might need a little.
Excellent. And I'll just echo, this is why I'm saying this is a 5-star cast. There's such great information that we're all learning here for this morning. Just shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about what is it like to be applying to PNW? So let's talk about the Common App. Let's talk about when you indicate you have an interest in attending PNW. If you want to be able to expand that as well to what it looks like for transfer students, let's go ahead and take it away on this topic.
Sure. The apply button's on the bottom of our website, so you can hit that anytime you want. We redesigned our app a few years ago to make it super easy, took a bunch of questions off of it. You can get through it pretty quickly. It's mobile friendly. You can do it on your phone. You can reach out to any of the recruiters that are listed on the website under the admissions page, or if you've already been in contact with us, already been assigned a recruiter, they can meet with you and literally help you fill out the application. It's like the lowest state. We don't want it to be stressful at all. We want you to feel completely comfortable. If your school is a Common App school, we are on Common App now, so you can just do that with your guidance counselor. Mark PNW as one of your choices, put it on your list, you're good to go. We'll get that in too. We're processing and admitting students right now, so we're really excited about that. That started right around October 1st. So if you apply to PNW within a few weeks, you'll find out if you got in or not. We're hoping to start issuing scholarships in November, which is great. You're automatically considered for those. So you just put your transcript and your GPA in, and you'll automatically be considered for merit scholarships. So we love that. There's no extra process there, and that's on purpose and by design so that you just are given the money that your GPA has earned you. So we want to make sure that students know that's available to them. A transfer application, bottom of the website too. There's an apply button. When you get in there, it'll ask you if you're first time or transfer. Nathan on our team is our transfer specialist, and he can help you. We have a whole team of people who process transfer credit and make sure you get all of your credits in that can come to PNW so that, again, your expenses down, all the work that you've already done, you get credit for. We want to make sure that happens for you. And the team's standing by. They're ready to help. And my team right now is always on the road with the financial aid team. This is a really important time for you to, with the FAFSA open, like it's almost like the application and the FAFSA happen hand in hand. We want to make sure students know that you should be really trying to fill out both. At this time of year because it's really important that you get those two things done in tandem. So the app's easy. It's available. There's a whole team ready to help you. So we've tried to make it just as painless as possible. So
Yeah, and a couple of things about the app. First of all, everybody who's free and reduced lunch can get a waiver.
Yep.
So you do have to go through the Slate, our admission application that's on our website to get that waiver.
Yep.
You can't get that through Common App, so make sure that if you're free and reduced lunch, you can take advantage of not having to pay the application fee. And then there was something else I was going to talk about with the app. There's many paths to PNW.
Yes.
So you want to talk about the Ivy Tech dual admission?
Yeah,
So
so
even if you get denied?
yeah, the dual admission program is something we're really proud of. We've had it for about 3 years now. It's going into its 4th year,
Yep,
maybe.
absolutely.
So the dual admission program is if you feel like you're not academically ready for PNW, or maybe your GPA is just a little bit too low for PNW, or you had a bad year or a bad semester, we want to make sure that our deny for you at PNW is also a win for you. So we don't really deny students. We invite them immediately to join the dual admission program, which means that you're dually enrolled at PNW and Ivy Tech at the same time. So you take your first 2 years of classes at Ivy Tech, your advisor there and your advisor on our campus communicate and make sure that you're on path for a bachelor's degree. So even though you're going to get an associate's along the way, we want you to see that like end of the road, big picture bachelor's degree at the end. And so it's an amazing program. You can live in our dorms if you're an Ivy Tech student. You can join our student orgs. You can go to our writing center. You can go to our tutoring center. You're kind of simultaneously a Ivy Tech and a PNW student so that we ensure that that 4-year degree happens for you. And you can find information about that on our website. There's a dual admission. If you search in the search function, if you just put in dual admission, there's an entire page of information. There's a form you can fill out that says you're interested in this program. You don't have to be a deny to be in this program. You can just want to save a little money your first 2 years or go a little slower because you know that you need some more help academically. So whatever your path is, there's a lot of them that lead back to PNW, and we're very lucky to have great partnerships at Ivy Tech that help us in basically the K through 12 space, K through 16 space at this point, because we're trying to get students all the way through to that bachelor's degree with Ivy Tech as a great partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been able to firsthand witness the success of presenting this dual admission program to high school seniors. We do some instant decision days in high schools where our admission specialist is able to take the transcripts of students who apply and kind of let them know on the spot if they will be admitted to PNW. And recently, when we've done some of these on the road with our Ivy Tech partners, we were able to have Ivy Tech there in the event that a student was not admitted to PNW. They would then be admitted to Ivy Tech, and we had a student in particular that definitely pulled my heartstrings when he was so happy to hear that he was still able to pursue a pathway to PNW through Ivy Tech that day, and said, I'm going to go home and tell my mom. She's going to be so proud of me that I'm able to go to college. And so those are the reasons why this is impactful and why the dual admission program is so important to make sure students are aware of. And it is another pathway to PNW. So.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being able to share more about applying for PNW. Before we get into highlighting a few quick things about preview and Start Your Journey and College Goal Sunday, kind of on that note, let's go ahead and start sprinkling in some topics about what financial aid exactly means and what we talk about when around the university and as we're talking with students and community members about paying for college, what that means. So how about to start out, what does financial aid mean? And are there misconceptions around it? And
Sure. There's a huge misconception about financial aid. So a lot of people or a lot of students and families think that financial aid is solely grants. So if they are not eligible for grants, then that's it. That's it for them. They have no options. Financial aid actually encompasses grants, scholarships, student loans. For them to complete the FAFSA, they're able to utilize all those different things or options or resources for them to pay for college. So that's basically the biggest misconception that we have. So.
And there's a state deadline, isn't there?
There is a state deadline. So FAFSA for 26-27 is already open. They came out a week. It came out a week early. So that FAFSA is available for completion. And Indiana has a state deadline of April 15th. So the sooner you get your FAFSA in, the better, because then you can qualify possibly for state grants. So those things are available for students and families to complete now.
And it's not just about like the access to the grant or the loan. It's about the access to the person. So I think it was like 4 years ago, we switched to a customer service team type atmosphere in financial aid. And each student gets assigned like a person who's like their friend and their counselor who helps them figure out how to pay for college, which is why our website says paying for college, not financial aid. Financial aid feels very like intimidating, whereas
it is.
Veronica's your friend and she's going to help you figure out how to pay for college. Like
a lot of times the students and families, not parents, students, they feel lost when they're talking to us. And so we try to make the best of our conversation with them, explaining what the FAFSA is, what are they eligible for, and then how do I know what to pay for college? Okay, this is where you're going to go to pay, or what you're going to see what you owe. This is what you're going to receive in financial aid. So we try to handhold as much as we can so that, because it is a daunting topic. Like, it's scary and it's very frustrating for students and families that don't understand what's going on. And a lot of that, it'll like, they give up on it, and so they're like, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to touch it, forget it, I'm not eligible. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that they understand what they're getting into. We try to do financial aid counseling. Do you have these loans? You don't need all these loans? That's okay. Here's options for you. You have payment plans, there's fee remissions, there's all types of different things that they can do, and grants and loans is not the only option. So
Who should file a FAFSA?
everyone should file a
Everybody.
should file
Everybody.
a FAFSA.
That's another thing they say. I'm not going to
get
I'm not going to get
anything,
anything,
yeah.
so I'm not going to file for it.
Yeah.
And so you never know what you may need later.
Yep.
You never know what you will receive. So
Yes, and the financial aid office is not just for PNW.
for sure, that's correct. We definitely utilize. We visit different schools with admissions. We do College Goals Sunday. That's open to the public, and so everybody is able to come in and get assistance for any questions that they have with their FAFSA.
Even if you're going to another college.
Even if you're going to another college,
The
that's
financial
correct.
aid offices at all universities, also being part of the Department of Education, dispersing federal financial aid, are open to anybody that has a question.
Yep, that's
so you
true.
could always come in and talk to a financial aid counselor at PNW.
Yes.
And then, of course, we have Scholarship Universe.
Scholarship Universe, yes, absolutely. So that is second year that it started?
Yeah.
Going into third.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Third application.
So Scholarship
Nice.
Universe is for students that are enrolled or that are applying or are admitted. It's a great tool to look at all the type of general scholarships that we have on campus and also outside scholarships. So once they're admitted, they get their PNW login information, they're able to utilize that tool. They set up a profile, and then they kind of matches them to different types of scholarships that they can actually apply to. So it's a great tool to have. Not a lot of schools have that, so it is something that it's great for our students to have, like a resource.
Yeah, a couple of things there. We allow our students to apply for scholarships when they get admitted. They don't even have to accept their offer with us, and they could get in and apply for scholarships. And that's an important distinction because the students have access to 16,000 external scholarships through Scholarship Universe. And as Veronica said, it matches you. So we take everything we already know about you, dump that into the scholarship system, and then it matches these to you, and they say, you're pretty close to matching to all of these things, and then you have to go out and apply. We have increased the number of students that have received external scholarships and the amount by $100,000. So our students this last year, just by having 2 years, have brought in $100,000 more in external scholarships, and I'm seeing more students fund nearly their entire education between the grants that they're receiving and external scholarships.
I'm glad that you know that number because I know when I'm looking at like the day to day, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot more scholarships that
Yes.
on a student's account than normally since Scholarship Universe has launched. So I
Yeah.
think it's a great addition.
And
to
besides,
it.
like the minimal profile, because we have to get to know you, because if not, it doesn't know to link you. Like, so you happen to be interested in nursing, and so you put that in, and then it links you to any external scholarship for nursing. Parents of seniors, start getting your student used to the notion that they might need to write a 250-word essay about themselves or something about their life for a $1,000 scholarship. We hear so much like, oh, I don't want to do that, or that's not worth it, or you have to get 3 reference letters, or start getting, we're going to have some events on campus this year where we help students figure out how to attain a reference letter. How do you send an email to someone asking them to be a reference for you? Or how do I start writing a 250, a 500, and 1,000-word essay about a topic that matters to me or my life or my journey as a student? Like, these are little tasks that could get you big amounts of money.
Absolutely.
It's like effort, time on task, and Scholarship Universe works for you. Almost the more you give it, the more it gives back to you. So parents, get your students really used to that notion that the merit scholarship is just going to be given to you for your GPA.
Right.
Like, you did a great job. You had awesome grades in high school. Here's a scholarship because you've earned it. These other ones in Scholarship Universe, you have to put a little time in,
Yes.
but it's worth it. Like you said, it's worth
Yes.
it. They're funding their
Pays
entire
off.
education.
Yes, and just to give you some numbers, I know people start to gloss over when I start giving numbers, so I will try. You'll
We
all
love
have
your
to.
numbers.
I like the numbers. I
Not
love the
me.
numbers.
I love your numbers.
I like
I
the
love your
numbers.
numbers.
But we are a very affordable option. So if you are an in-state student, so you have residence in the state of Indiana, We have banded tuition. So you are going to pay one cost if you have between, like basically full-time, 12 to 18 credit hours. And that banded tuition per year is $8,671.60. That is just tuition and fees. There are many other things that you will see. Veronica will go into cost of attendance in just a minute, but which will be a complementary to what I'm talking about. So that is $4,335.80 per term. So for the fall 2025, students are paying $4,335 per term plus $304 for books, which we could talk a lot about books. But for those of you on the radio who've gone to college and you're like, oh my gosh, my books, even back in the 90s, were $600, $304 for all of your instructional materials for a term. So let's just say that you are Pell eligible, which is another reason everybody should file the FAFSA. You may not think you are Pell eligible, but with this new SAI, the calculation of it is super interesting, and we are seeing people maybe even with some higher income levels, but they have more children, they have more other expenses and other things, are now Pell eligible, to the point where 40% of our entire undergraduate population are Pell eligible right now. There are also different levels and amounts based upon your level of eligibility for Pell, but let's just run the scenario here. The maximum Pell is $7,395 for a year. We cut that in half, so you receive half for fall, half for spring. So that $4,335 I talked about for the fall semester, half of that maximum Pell is $3,697. That means you would owe for the fall term $638 plus books. That is more affordable than what people think. Then when you layer on your state grants, your scholarships, all of those other things, it now becomes more affordable for people to be able to come to Purdue Northwest. 56.2% of our students are graduating with debt. That is actually very, very low, and they are borrowing way below the national average. Our average debt of our graduating students is $22,308. The national average is $37,000. So our students, as Veronica said, they are working really hard with the students to not borrow beyond what they need, only to do what it is that they need for that. Yes, that's necessary for their tuition and fees, and then their cost of attendance, which also is another piece, and I know is very confusing and is a huge misconception.
It's very confusing. That's probably like the number one question we get from students is, what is this cost of attendance? Why am I owing $15,370? When a student gets an aid offer, there's always the cost of attendance. The cost of attendance, that number includes two numbers: the direct cost, which is your tuition and fees, and then indirect costs, which is what we estimate a student may need to go to school. So for housing and food, transportation, miscellaneous expenses throughout the year. So that total number is just the number that what we as financial aid professionals determine we can award up to. So if you have $15,079 as a cost of attendance, then that's how much financial aid you can receive. So that's a big misconception. So they're like, I'm not paying for housing. Why am I getting charged for this? Nope, that's not what it is. That's just the simple number to let us know how much financial aid you can receive. So that's what the cost of attendance is. We then take it a step further and say, hey, this is where you find your tuition and fees. This is what you're going to get charged for. So it's necessary. It's a requirement for us to report that number on their aid offer, but it's not what they think it is. And so I think I want to bring that out and let everybody know that's not what that number is, because that's probably the number one question that we get from financial aid or from students in financial aid. So.
Which is why people think they can't
Right.
afford to go to college.
Correct.
They think they're going to pay $15,000
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
when really your tuition and fees are going to be the $8,600 for an entire year. So much different.
If you were like younger and wanted to start saving, like as a parent, if you wanted to think, what would my student need for food and transportation? Like the cost of attendance is almost like if you wanted to start like a college savings account, you could shoot for 15 because that would mean you had all the money you needed to make sure that your student had what they needed.
Right.
But you're not getting billed for all that.
Correct.
That's like the most important thing you said. So if you're in this situation right now, you don't need 15, but it's nice to have it out there as like a goal number, like a target number. If I saved this, we'd be in a really
Good
great
spot,
spot. Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, it's nice to have that cost of attendance number if you're a parent who likes to look at the big picture.
Right.
Because if they are commuting to campus, that is going to be gas money. But
Yes.
hopefully they have a little part-time job, and it's not like PNW is giving you a bill for that gas money.
Correct.
We're just saying your students should think about
About
these
these
costs,
things, yes.
because they are a part of the experience,
Right.
but you don't have to have those
Have to have
costs.
those- yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
exactly.
think these numbers are really important also because that's one of the biggest arguments against a college degree currently is that so many students are going to be in debt, and does the degree outweigh the debt that they'll carry with them? And I think, even the state has done studies that show someone with the college degree will make about $1 million more over the course of their lifetime than somebody that doesn't pursue higher education. And so that your data kind of dispels that myth. And
Yeah.
I think it's important that families are aware that that's not necessarily the case, that a college degree is definitely a valuable thing to have and doesn't mean you'll be in debt for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Sandy's
Absolutely.
scenario left $1,300 left to be paid. If your student has above a 3.0, I'm giving them a $1,000 scholarship.
Yeah.
We're left with a $300 bill for an entire semester of college. Are they work study? There you go, $300 paid.
That was just going to segue in.
Easy
There's federal
breezy.
work- There's
Yeah,
other
I mean-
things that they can use the federal work study, which is a campus-based aid that federal government offers students with need-based or that are need-based. So basically, federal work study is giving students the opportunity to work part-time on campus or even off campus for like community service type positions. So that's just getting paid while they're in school, going to school, so they can pay for educational expenses. Another thing is tuition. Like there's other there's other things that we can look at. Do you work at Amazon? Do you work at McDonald's? A lot of these places have tuition remissions that offer to students that they can use to pay for school. So there's a lot of different avenues that they can look if they do have a $1,300 balance.
We can get
Or
that
we could
down
do
to
it-
almost nothing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, with
And
a
then-
minimal amount of
Right.
effort working with your office,
Correct.
like when Christina was just saying, like, that's so digestible. I have
Sure.
a $1,300 bill. Oh, I'm smart. I'm getting a scholarship. I'm down to a $300 bill.
Yep.
Like, that's easy breezy
Yep.
for us
Yeah.
to get down for students to zero.
And we even work with the bursar. They have payment plan options. And so, we try to get those numbers down as much as we can or give, advice like, okay, where are you working? Maybe you have tuition remission or whatever the case may be. So there's always options.
Always
like, to get that.
options. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was just a national article, huge survey that was done. 3/4 of college-bound students right now don't know how they're going to pay for college. That is a huge number nationally, but yet students are doing it, and so can you, is what I would say to all the listeners. Please encourage students to come and talk to financial aid and come and talk to us.
Sure.
Yep.
Don't be afraid of us. A lot of people are afraid of us. They're like, I don't want to talk to financial aid.
Yeah.
And and that's what we're trying to change, right?
Totally.
And I think we're doing great.
You're
with
changing it already. I mean, we looked at our numbers for FAFSA filled out for this incoming class, and it went up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's because
Yes.
you're just on the road with the recruiters, and they're meeting this team of people who care about them, and it's totally like normalized. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would talk to Kenzie about my application. I talked to Tanika about my financial aid.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
done. I'm golden. This is my care team.
Yep.
They're going to make sure I'm okay.
Yep,
They're going to make sure I
absolutely.
get this done.
Yeah.
Excellent. Some great information shared by everyone there. Thank you very much. And, when we're having fun, the time goes by very fast. We have a few minutes before we got to bring this in for a landing. So let's go ahead and quickly talk about some of the upcoming events where you can hear a bunch of this information again in a great presentation, plus more at Preview PNW. That's going to be on October 18th. Start your journey at our Westville campus November 20th. And sorry that I went a little out of order. College Goals Sunday, that's going to be November 9th. This is a statewide event. PNW is going to be a host site for that. So for our crew, can you please talk a bit about those 3 upcoming events and what people can expect?
Sure. Preview PNW and Start Your Journey are both open houses. There's just the one in Hammond is Preview, the one in Westville is Start Your Journey. You can sign up for both of them on our website. They will walk you through academic showcases, and those are going to be our really exciting things we do. You can go watch something be 3D printed. You can use a solar telescope. You can go to the nursing lab and watch them control a mannequin with a computer that actually has like bodily functions that you can work on as a nurse. So many cool things. The academic showcases are like all of the exciting hands-on things that our academics are doing on PNW's campus that folks might not be aware of. So we start the day with showcases, a resource fair. Over 70 tables were signed up at the resource fair last year. That's everyone who does a service of some sort to students on our campus gets a resource fair table, and basically all of the parents and students can walk around and just get information about pretty much anything that exists on PNW's campus. And then there's college presentations so that you could make sure, like, oh, I'm thinking about maybe being an engineer. Well, I'll go to the college presentation for the engineering and get to hear from the dean or the associate dean and kind of know what it's going to be like. And then there's a bunch of sessions about financial aid, about living on campus, being a commuter student, if that's what you're interested in. Student life is there. There's golf cart tours. You can pretty much hang out and go to some affinity sessions after. Affinity sessions might be something that gives you a sense of belonging on campus. So you might go to the first gen office and chat with them after and just kind of see what their resources are like. So when you leave, you will have an amazing sense of what it would be like to be a PNW student. So either one of those events will give you a day in the life of a PNW student, if you will. And your parents come along for the ride. There's a parent panel where we take the students out of the room and the parents get to ask all their questions that their student normally is probably like, Mom, don't ask that. Well, the students go and do student things, and the parents get to all be together and talk to the chief of police and the dean of students and ask all their questions about the things that are really kind of like heavy on their heart about their student going to college. So we're really proud of this event. We've had it for a number of years. There's one in fall, one in spring. They're on both campuses. We really feel like everyone should access those. They're free. You get a meal in the cafeteria. But come hang out. It's really an all-encompassing what PNW has to offer event on both campuses. So we would love to see you there. Sign up on our website.
And our application fee is waived. If
And that day, yes, admissions will be there all day. They're on site all day, sitting with folks, filling out the application with them. So if you're the type of person who really wants to sit with an admission specialist and fill out your application, the whole team is there all day, so they can help you with that.
Absolutely. Just to shout out those quick URLs, pnw.edu/preview and pnw.edu/start-your-journey if you're interested in either of those. And please also share a little bit about what to expect for College Goals Sunday on November 9th.
Sure. College Goals Sunday is November 9th. We're having it hosting on both campuses, both Hammond and the Westville campus. It's open to the public. Anyone can come. They don't have to be going to PNW. They will be able to complete their FAFSA. Parents and families can all, and students can all come in. It's between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. I think I said that already. Hammond campus will be in the Student Union Library building on the second floor. And the Westville campus, I apologize, I did not write the building, but I know it's room 241. Did I?
Library Student Faculty Building.
Library
Oh,
Student
yeah,
Faculty.
perfect.
Sorry.
No.
But that is in also room 241. But yeah, I mean, everybody can come out and join and come out and get help with completing their 26-27 FAFSA.
Excellent. As well as their FSA ID.
Oh, right.
Yes.
That's kind of like,
yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being able to share that. While we have just a couple more minutes, I know that one of the topics we also wanted to be able to highlight, just based on common questions that you receive from community members, campus safety is also something that does come up as questions from students and their family members. What do you like to be able to share with them? If we had Director Miller here, obviously he'd be able to give his wonderful presentation. But what do you like to be able to tell folks about campus safety?
I mean, I would say we talk to parents all the time about this, that our police force is top notch on our campus. We don't have just like public safety. We actually have like actual police officers on our campus that I feel like are more community members than they are policing. Like they'll come give you a jump if your car dies or help you if you lock your keys in. And yes, it's a college campus, so if you leave your backpack unattended in the library for a certain amount of time, it might walk away. Those are things that happen on every college campus. But as far as safety and the safeness of PNW's campus, I feel like our police force does an amazing job keeping everybody informed about just risks, or we have an alert me system. they're really good about they work Cookout with a Cop, which is our kind of like opening event to the semester, where they talk to students and families about just general safety stuff, like not walking with your headphones in at night and being aware of your surroundings. And so I think that their proactive approach to that has us having a very safe campus. I think our students feel very safe on our campus. I think that if parents come to preview, they'll be able to sit in that session and talk to our chief of police, Brian Miller, and ask him some direct questions about things on our campus. But I don't know if anyone wants to add anything to that. I feel like all of the students that I talk to, and then my staff, everyone feels very safe on our campus. And I know that's a big concern nationally right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Julie said, they are sworn in police officers, and they stay up to date on all of their trainings.
Yep.
They have active shooter drills. They have a lot of things that help keep our campus safe. And that is one thing, though, that if you are looking at colleges, Purdue Northwest or any college, you should definitely check out the crime statistics on the website. Under the Clery Act, all universities have to publish their annual crime statistics report, and that is something that you should take a look at. And if you look at PNW's, I think I looked at it yesterday, there were only 38 lines, and it was things like, somebody needed, had a backpack that was stolen. I mean, it's very mundane kinds of things that happen. PNW has, and hopefully will continue to be, a very safe place for students and their families and employees.
Absolutely. And then, and just to the point, if anybody wants to look up the information again, it's publicly available,
Yes.
pnw.edu/public-safety. Okay, it is just after 9 a.m. And like we said, we put up a good list of different topics that we wanted to hit on. I think we got the majority of them.
We
so
did.
so that
Pretty
was
good.
that was good. So like we said, we could probably talk for a whole another hour about all the great things here just on these topics. So again, thank you to the cast, Christina, Sandy, Veronica, and Julie. Thank you very much for being here early in the morning to be able to talk about all these great things for applying and paying for college. One last time, pnw.edu/admissions. That's the place to go to start finding out information about attending Purdue University Northwest. So with that, that's going to conclude the October 9th, 2025 PNW Today program. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time in early November. Take care.